Hello everybody. As you can see from the title, this is not a live stream. And yeah, I got a brew, so I suggest you get a brew. I think what we'll do is we will do a not live stream. With focus on Python, obviously, that's the name of the channel, so it'd be a bit silly of me just to do a random video about, I don't know, nuclear physics. And just bear with me, because what happened yesterday, my neighbours were really annoying me, and well, their children were. And what happened was I spilt coffee all over my keyboard when I was trying to turn my stereo up. I had my laptop plugged into my stereo down here, and yeah, what did I do? I don't know, but whatever I did, I was just getting up and I knocked coffee all over my keyboard, and now the escape key's sticking, which I even took it apart. I took the keyboard apart, and yeah, first world problems. Yeah, anyway, let's how do I get rid of this? Oh, F11. Yeah. So where are we? We're looking at today. Let's do some API stuff, because really it's whatever you do nowadays, you need to know about APIs. I mean, web scraping, yeah, great, but even web scraping, you've got to know all about APIs. And I mean, obviously, the best thing for your career is to learn how to write an API. So FastAPI or do the tutorials, the FastAPI tutorials. And if you look within the FastAPI tutorials, you'll see links to a more advanced tutorial that you can buy for $25. Link in description. I've bought that tutorial myself, and I've done it, and it's really good. It kind of blows your mind to start with. There's some stuff to do with LRU caching, which yeah, a lot of it was new to me. So base model, pedantic, other stuff I'd kind of come across before, but yeah, and Dockerizing it, and yeah, I can't remember what else. Docker. It was mainly, the emphasis was on Docker, Pytest, FastAPI. So yeah, it's a really good tutorial. If you do it, it says 10 hours, but I think the first time I did it, it probably took me longer than that. I was kind of really making sure that I grasped every concept, and I kept going off and reading about each, or reading up on each thing it was talking about. I've just noticed on my keyboard, when I took it apart, I took all the screws out, but I've put some of the screws back in the wrong holes, and they've actually started to poke through the top of the keyboard. I think they have. Can anybody recommend a really good keyboard? I see adverts and people recommending them, but then down below they've got a link to them, and then they cost £100, so they're probably after loads of affiliate commission, aren't they? So let's get going. So what we're looking at is because I live in the UK, and because our national TV channel, British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC, annoy me, and they charge me £150 a year for a license, I cancelled it. And yeah, without going into a rant about them, I no longer watch terrestrial or mainstream telly. So instead, I end up watching, there's some live airport streams, LA Airport on YouTube, Airline Videos Live. Check it out. It's really professional. But the presenters call themselves plane jockeys, as in disc jockeys. So yeah, this is going to be as if it was a live stream. It's not a live stream, and it never was. So if you're watching this in the future, this wasn't a live stream. The reason it wasn't a live stream is because I've not got enough subscribers or followers or talent to make it worth watching live, really. I think it would be a bit embarrassing if I only had... sorry, I clicked on the wrong screen. This is exchange rates and currency conversion. It's the same company. So if you scroll down... Well, I'll scroll down for you because you can't. Yeah, these are all the... I think it's one big company, and they've got their fingers in a lot of pies. Can you see these? So if you go to currencylayer.com, which is one of... Basically, they all linked they all obviously link to all the others. So they've got all these .com addresses, and they're great. So there's one called scraperstack. This might be interesting to any of my web scraping fans. Handling millions of proxy IPs, browsers, and captures. Get a free API key. Tap into our extensive pool of 35 plus million data center and residential IP addresses across dozens of global ISPs supporting real devices, smart retries, and IP rotation. I did IP rotation with my VPN. If I remember, I'll put the link to it. I set up a Raspberry. In fact, did I do it with my Pi Zero? It doesn't matter, but I set up rotating VPN. With my VPN provider, I've got 50 IP addresses for 50 different countries, and I was connecting to one, retrieving, I think it was 6 results, and that was the most I could retrieve with one geo IP. Then I had to disconnect, reconnect, get another 6. I did it because I wanted to, not because it was ever going to be a practical solution. It was just a challenge. So how is everybody? I'm kind of doing this video as if it's live. If loads of people watch this and there's something interesting in it, or if you like the style of it, then let me know and I'll do another one, but maybe I'll do it live. I think I'm allowed to do it live. I know you've got to have a certain number of subscribers and everything. I think I might be allowed to now. Anyway, let's get back to, I'm just going to talk about this company for a bit. And then we'll get back to the actual focus of the video, which will be, I'll just give you a sneak preview. We'll be coding some code to work with or make requests to an airline API, and we'll be getting flight data. We could get aeroplane data. I got that earlier. I don't know if it's still in my... No, I've overwritten it in the history, but yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I'll change the screen color as well if that helps. Anyway, back to what I was talking about, which was this company. I only really came across... One thing led to another. I was looking for... yeah, I was just thinking, wonder if there's anything I can do with APIs. Maybe data visualization, if I can get flight data from an API and then maybe visually represent it with Plotly or something, just to kind of put a slight data science, data analytics slant on it. And just out of fun, really, just interest rather than anything. I think that isn't playing one of the best ways to learn stuff. Anyway, this is their scraping service. Many ways to use a web scraping API. There are countless use cases for a web scraping REST API, from scraping rankings on platforms like Google or YouTube, all the way to parsing TripAdvisor or Booking.com results. Yeah, so this is the thing with web scraping. If you want to do it properly or in bulk, then you need to pay for a service. If you're paying for a service, then you've it's chicken and egg. To provide to do the bigger jobs, you've got to pay for the higher service, and then if you're paying for the higher service, you've got to do more jobs to pay for the service. So let's have a look at pricing, because I might actually be doing them a disservice. But pricing, so there's a basic service for 19. Let me just zoom in as well if my keyboard allows me. There we go. So what have we got here? Yeah, the example API allows, that says 100 requests, but I think that's 100 per week. Okay, let's look at what one would we. To be honest, the professional one is probably. Let's look at the differences. So if you so for $20 a month, you've got 250,000 requests, 4 times as much, and you've got 4 times as many requests. plus premium proxies. Because of the exchange rate, that's actually quite expensive now in the UK. So that probably about a year or two ago, or say 3 years ago, that would probably have only cost me 50 something pounds. Now it's going to cost me about £70 because of the exchange rate. Don't even get me started on global financial systems. Yeah, I could bore you for hours. Just look up what WTF 1971. Well, look at Bretton Woods. Also, look at the Compulsory Gold Repurchase Act. It's all bad. Anyway, these are the options you've got for this web scraping service, which I've just come across today. I'm not promoting it, but anyway, the company that does this actually provide all of these services as well. So I was just looking around, really, a bit like window shopping, I guess. What have we got? We've got weather, coin layer, VAT layer, position stack. I've got no idea what any of these are. Let's just have a look. Accurate forward and reverse batch geocoding REST API. Free geocoding for global places and coordinates trusted by developers and businesses worldwide. What does it actually do? So we put in the coordinates, is that right? Oh, no. Okay, so I can go for this. So let's put in London SW12 8QT. I think that used to be, I used to hear that on telly when I was little. I think it was where the BBC TV centre was when I used to like them. Okay, so you put in the postcode and you get all of this data back. Basically you get a country name, longitude and latitude, capital, flag, area, landlocked, subregion, numeric code. I don't know what that numeric code is. Then we've got dial, so you've got the telephone prefix, currency, languages, sunrise, sunset. Okay. API documentation. If you're learning Python, it's always, or learning to work with APIs, it's always, you can learn a lot just by going on the website of the people who provide APIs. And you can learn a lot. You can typically, if they're really good, they'll have sample code, up-to-date sample code, unlike eBay, who jury's still out on them. There's some stuff which, if you look at my other videos, you'll see, but some of my most popular videos are about using Python with eBay because it's not very well documented by eBay themselves. Forward geocoding, reverse geocoding. Okay, so you can either supply the region and then they give you the longitude and latitude and all the other stuff we just looked at, or you supply longitude and latitude and then it tells you the name of the place and all that. So what they're using http.client. Okay. Nothing that exciting to look at there. So in a minute, hang in here. I'm just finishing my coffee before it gets cold. And code examples. That's what we just looked at. Position stack, currency layer. Right, so in a minute we're going to look at aviationstack. I'm just being nosy. What's IP API? IP address location. Language layer? Language detection? So there's some geo stuff, verification, data. What's Fixer do? Our currency exchange. HTML to PDF. I don't really know why you would need that. Web scraper, search engine stuff. Pricing we've already looked at. Documentation, developer documentation. Again, there's so much free stuff out there. API. Let's look at API response, see what it says. The standard API response is an easily parsable, lightweight JSON file consisting of different objects and properties. The response will be explained in detail below. Example API response. So it's JSON dictionary. Quotes is nested there. Along with a source currency, a timestamp, and some legal reminders, the API will return a quotes object containing all the specified currency pairs with their respective exchange rates. Okay. Right, let's get to it because we're not actually learning very much from that. So what we're looking at is the aviation. I've already registered for the API. Aviation. Sorry, I keep clicking. I'll find the page that I want. Here we go. Aviationstack. So I've already got the free API key. You just put your name and address in, and they email it to you. Just the API key. That's all you need. And in a minute, we'll get some different airline data. Any flight worldwide at your fingertips. Airline. Let's just look up, will it say EasyJet? Today? No. You do have to put in the flight number. So is this a real life example? No, it's, okay. I wonder if I empty that and just put in nothing, will it just... No. 10,000 airports, 19,000 airplanes, 300 airplane types, 13,000 airlines, 9,000 cities, 250 countries. Are there even 250 countries in the world? Start tracking flights. That's probably going to take me to the API. Sign up, get free access today. So yeah, that's what I clicked earlier, and then I came here and I chose this option. If you go for the dearer one, you get HTTPS. So yeah, if you use their free one, which is what I'm going to show, it doesn't do HTTPS encryption. So you'll put in HTTPS just because out of habit, and then you'll get an error, and then I remember, don't put in the S. Right, let's go back to the aviation. So now we're on aviationstack.com. Here we go. To prevent unauthorized access to your AviationStack account, please make sure you keep your API access key safe at all times. You can always generate a new key using your account dashboard. Show you what I've done that I always do. I just put it inside a .env file. And if you're using a .env file, then you just need to do pip install. Is it python.env? I think so. And then, what was it? I think it was pip install. What was it? Python.env? I'm doing this from memory now because yeah, there it is. Yeah. So you do, let me just zoom in a bit because that's quite small still, isn't it? Here we go. Is that better? Let's go one more just for bonus. And let's just change the color. If I was doing a live stream now, I could kind of ask for suggestions on the color theme, but because I'm not popular enough or or viewed enough, I get to choose because nobody else is watching, because this is not a live stream. Remember, not a live stream. Oh, that is quite bright. I don't like it too bright. Well, here we go. You're watching a bloke change his color theme in VS Code. Right, enough of that nonsense. In fact, what I'm going to do is just move that don't even want that. Don't want the mini map. I want to move this down to the bottom. And I didn't even want to do that. What is going on? Drag it. Let's kill that terminal. Split terminal. Well, this is not going well, is it? Actually, let's close that. Right, now if I do... I think I had it then. Is it going down there? Nope. Terminal. Go down there, yep. Bottom. There we go. Right. Import requests. From .env, import load.env. Import OS. From pprint, import pprint, that's pretty print. Load.env, so you instantiate load.env. And then once you've done that, you can use os.getEnv. And that will then get your in my .env file, I put flight API in capitals, then equals, and then I pasted in my API without the quotes. Whatever you have to the right of the equal sign must not have quotes, because it's not Python, it's just text. Well, it's a .env file. This is one that I ran earlier to get... in fact, let's comment that out, and I'll just show you. Comment that out. And we'll do pprint. Just run this, and I'll show you what you get back. You get back response 200. Sorry. Let's go for some r.text. Try that. There we go. And it's replied with, I can't remember how many results it sends back in one go, but yeah, pagination, offset, 0, limit 100, count 100, total 310. I don't know enough about aviation. IATA code? Is that something to do with aviation? I don't know, was it? Anyway, aircraft name, Fokker Aerospace, BAE, British Aerospace. Airbus, A310, A310-200, A310-300. So I don't really know what... I think this is just a list of airplanes that they've got. Is that 310 airplanes that are still in action? Don't know. So so that was using this the first endpoint, which is called aircraft types. and then I just passed. On their example, they were talking about passing params, but I've just used an F string and just put the API in curly braces. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And now we'll do, we'll look at the flight API. And I think that's going to get us, let's just print the response first. So we've got API response equals API result. So API result, so we'll just say API response equals API result.json. Let's run that. This takes, I don't know if it's because I've got the cheap or the free version, but oh, okay. Nothing back. Because I didn't print it. Right. Let's print the response, everybody. So how's everyone enjoying the not live stream? This is easier for me because I don't have to do loads of video editing, but it's probably worse for you because it's real time. Quick little tip, watch every video on YouTube at 1.25 or 1.5 speed. You can watch more videos in the same amount of time. Right, so what have we got this time? This is a bit like playing bingo. This is flight bingo. So what have we got here? Let's find this one. Aircraft none. But I don't want to see aircraft none. Aircraft none? Why have I got aircraft none? They all start with aircraft none. I want to go off and find if their aircraft ever gets used. No, it looks like that key doesn't even get used, which is odd. Okay, so I'm recording this late evening in UK time, so airline QR, is that Qatar? That's Qatar Airways. You see that? Airport Tullamarine. And this is going to be landing in. Is this Melbourne? Yeah. So it's landing in the Melbourne time zone. International. Is that time of arrival? No. I don't know. So I don't know enough about aeroplanes, but so departure. Okay, so it took off at 01:55. And you can see what runway it took off from, what airport it took off from, delay. Is that in minutes? 80-minute delay. You can see the gate. IATA, ICAO, time zone Darwin. So if you understand flights, you'll know how to interpret all this. I don't really, but I got cargo there, cargo airlines. If you're into plane spotting, this is probably just up your street. Some of these aviation channels, they know all the they get Haneda. That's Japan. I know that from watching Los Angeles airline videos live. Haneda Airport arrival. Where did it take off from? Let's see if we can find out. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. That's Kuala Lumpur, Singapore. I guess because I'm filming this at this time of day, most of the flights, or I guess majority of flights, operate within kind of 6 a.m. till midnight, wherever you are in the world. So we probably wouldn't see many UK flights going on. Might see a few, but Sri Lanka. Yeah, so these all seem to be in the east. Well, if you're in the UK, then the east. If you're in the east, then it's not the east because that's where you already are. Right, let's try and parse this a bit then. This was their example, so what I want to do is just verify whether their example works or not. Because when I was testing earlier, it didn't, so I thought, well, rather than do it all by myself, I could make a video on it, if indeed I need to. It said something about results, but it might have not found the results because I put in the S. So yeah, if you're using this API, remember to, oh yeah, that's right. So key error results. That's right. So I thought, well, rather than just fix it by myself, I'd make a video. So for flight in API response results. So what we need to do, in fact, if I lost my, yeah, I've lost my previous. What I'm going to do is comment this out, run this again. I'll just run this again because I want to see if where this key is, because it's not finding that key, which I find quite odd because I'm using their example. Oh, that's just a code runner. I thought it was code runner bug. What's going on? Run Python file. Sometimes, I think you've seen me do that before. Code runner will, I don't know, it thinks it runs and then it doesn't. I think there's a slight bug with it. You click it and something, it's not, it's not doing what it says on the tin. Okay, so let's go back to the top, and the response is too big for me to see the results. Okay. How are we going to get around this then? We could write the response to a text file. Or we could just try response.get. Notice how I'm doing this in brackets is because if you do it in brackets, then it doesn't fall over if you get no response. I'm going to run it as a Python file again because the play button seems a bit hit and miss. None. It's saying there's no results. Okay, let's try something else then. Let's for key value in API response dot items print. I just want to print the keys. But, oh, it's already JSON, isn't it? Let's try this. Is that going to work? Okay, yeah, right, let's just print the response again. And we need to, how do we truncate the response so that we only see the first part of it? And I need to import JSON. Did I import JSON? I can hear cars going really fast outside. It's Friday night. If you've ever seen Fast and the Furious, you know what I'm on about. I would say some bad words, but view. Why is it not bringing up my sidebar? There we go. So let's read the JSON response. And so this is why the results wasn't returning anything. I need to be results is up. I don't know what their example is not good. So we've got pagination is our first key. Data is our second key. And then the value of data is a list. Where's the other one of those? Where is the other one of where's the other one? Oh, right, it's right at the end. We don't want to use that then. So we'll do get data 0, and then we'll get everything inside 0. Flight. So we'll get flight date down to. So this is what we want to get. So we need to get data, then we'll get 0, and then we'll get flight date. You see how, right, so there's probably a better way of presenting the output on the screen such that you don't have to create that JSON file, but let's just put a note. Create JSON files so we can refer to structure for parsing. Now we say I'm going to ignore all this. Let's just move all that down out of the way. That's a red herring at the moment. So let's call it flight info equals API response dot get, and we want to get data, and then we want to get 0, And then we want to get, what next? Flight date. In fact, we don't need to write that file this time because we've already got it and we know the structure. So let's run this. Not live stream. Maybe one day. Help me get to 10,000 views. Maybe on 10,000, no, subscribers, sorry. Maybe on 10,000 subscribers, I'll do a live stream. And I did not print this, so print. Oh, let's do pretty print. Flights info. So I can type better than this slightly, but as previously mentioned, I spilt coffee all over this keyboard. I'd love to get a good keyboard, a really good microphone. The only good thing I've got is my screen. I love it. It's Samsung curved 30. Is it 32-inch? Not sure. There's no model number on it because the surround's so thin. So I've got a second-hand keyboard from an old job that I kept. Second-hand laptop. After all that time, all it's returned is 220924, which is that. So we need to then get, we got flight date, let's get flight status, departure. Actually, departure will be a bit more interesting because it will give us all that. So let's get, what we could do is actually just set all of this bit into a variable because we're going to reuse this starting bit quite a few times. Let's do that. And just remember to print it next time. So now we can do flights underscore date. Date's not data equals flight info dot get flight date. And then we can do, what was the next thing? I need to open this on the right hand side, don't I? Split right. And close that. And I probably need to close that as well. Yeah. So next we got flight date, flight status, flight status equals flight info dot get and that's just going to return me scheduled. See how I'm keeping the variable names the same as the actual key name in the JSON. So flight status, that's the name of their key in the JSON they return. And I'm actually sticking to that format. It's especially handy, especially when you're working with inserting this output into a database or pandas, for instance. You don't want spaces in your column header, in your column titles with pandas. If you do, you will get problems whereby you will have to, you can't use the dot. You then have to start using the square brackets and the quotes, and it just yeah, it's good practice. It's more Pythonic. So next, don't forget to subscribe to this not live stream. Right, where are we now? We are looking for departure. We'll test it after this one. Fail fast and fail early. Obviously, it's better not to fail at all, but there's nobody who doesn't fail. The only people who don't fail are the people who don't do anything. I'm sure we all know people like that. Don't say politicians. They do things. Just evil, malevolent, cynical, snidey things. Fight the system. Or if you are a Windows user, fight the operating system. Right, let's just run. We need to print. So print flight underscore date underscore and we need to do flight status. If I had Vim, I could do this much quicker, but I love Vim, but using Vim in VS Code is a nightmare. I don't know why. It's like you're mixing two things that don't really go together. Okay, so ready? I've got hiccups now. I think that's because I don't know. It might be the stress of doing the not live stream. What's wrong with the departure? I didn't put get. This is what happens when I try and talk and code at the same time. That's why I don't do it very often, but I thought if I did a not live stream, it would save me time doing editing, and it would just kind of it would be good practice, and it would be more realistic, and it would just give me a chance to discuss things that I don't normally cover on a normal sort of a short video, and maybe just build up some enthusiasm for a live stream or another not live stream. Do you think the not live streams could catch on? Hello and welcome to the not live stream. The second so the next time it'll be, I don't know whether I should just name these not live stream 1, not live stream 2. Maybe I'll actually call it something meaningful like flight data API in brackets not live stream. So there we go. We've got the date, flight, what's it called? Flight status, and then we've got departure. So you can see what we're doing is we're gradually passing the data from the JSON, and what you do is you just start off with the first key. If you don't want the first key, then you skip to the end of the first value. So the first value, you see what I've highlighted in blue there? So everything highlighted in blue is the first value that goes with the first key. So then you look for the second key. So the second key is data. And that's what I'm using here. So I'm using the data key, and because the value of the data key is a list, then what I need to do is find the other end of the list. Oh yeah, which is all the way down at the bottom. Just here. That's the other end of that. So we can't rely on that. So then we just need to say 0. We're specifying the first list. The first list because what is list 0 is index 0. And then once so that's kind of like our base. So flight info, and then once we've navigated down to that point, then what we can then just do is start using the actual keys. So it's got us to where we want. So then we do the flight status. Then we get that is the value. If I scroll up just a bit, there we go. So that corresponds to the flight date. That there is the flight status. This here is the departure, sorry. So what comes after departure? So we've got the departure key followed by whatever's in these curly braces, which go all the way down to here. So then the next one is arrival. That's the next key. So let's do arrival. So that's basically the same as departure. This sticky keyboard is driving me insane. If anybody's like a millionaire and they're watching this, could you just get in touch and just offer to buy me a new keyboard? Even if you're a keyboard company or you work for a keyboard company and you'd like somebody with 2,700 subscribers to promote the hell out of your keyboard, then please. Arrival equals flight info.get arrival. So that will get us all of these values down to, where does that end? Down to here. And then what else should we get? We'll get airline, and then we'll do something less boring instead. So let's. I mean, then what we could actually do is we could then pass the dictionary that gets returned from one of our keys. So as you see, the departure returns this dictionary, and then we could pass that for key value pairs. If you were inserting this data into a database, that's probably what you would need to do, unless PostgreSQL allows you to insert JSON in, where you can have a data type of JSON. You could do that, or you could just use NoSQL. There's different ways of doing things, but that's beyond the scope of this video, and it's probably beyond the scope of my capabilities at this moment in time. So I'm going to shut up and just get on with this. And what was the next one? Airline. Okay. Let's move this up a bit and clear the screen. And let's run it. And, well, it takes 10 seconds. It's not the quickest API, is it? I thought the point of APIs was so that they were lightweight and they were quick and you could run it from, you know, a mobile device. Is it slow because it's using HTTP? I don't know. In theory, I would have thought that would be quicker, but how long did that take? 28 seconds? Did you see that? Oh, I've hidden it. My head is in the way. Behind that, it took 28 seconds to retrieve. I got a funny feeling I didn't print airline. Yeah. That's another 28 seconds wasted. Not gross misconduct, gross incompetence. If anyone's watching from abroad and they don't understand some of the phrases that I come out with, CodeMonkey King, aka Maxim, aka Chess Programming, aka he's got a new channel, Natural Flow, and I did a call with him where he was talking about we were talking about idioms as a way to. Oh, if I typed, that's really good. It's offered me a suggestion. Oh yeah, I typed airplane. Sorry. Right, run it again, and then I'll get back to. I'm only half concentrating. Maybe live streams are not for me. Right. Yeah. So we were talking about idioms as a good way to learn a language. So if you're learning a language, you kind of stick to the basics of the alphabet, counting to 100, booking a hotel room. And you don't always cover some of the obscure things, such as, okay, example. So in England, we say, a rolling stone gathers no moss. And for instance, the word moss, if you're learning a language, is moss a word that you learn straight away? Probably not. So yeah, learning some idioms I find idioms very amusing and interesting. They kind of, I wouldn't say they push you outside your comfort zone, but they expose you to words which you wouldn't otherwise learn. So what have we got? In fact, I should have prefixed. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do an F string, flight date, and we'll do the same for these as well. So again, if I was really good at Vim and had the plugin installed, you could probably do a right status. Yeah, you can kind of do copy and modify quite well with Vim, but I find just Vim in VS Code, as I've already said, is just I don't know. Sometimes two things don't play. When I'm doing stuff in Vim, I kind of have my Vim head on, and when I'm doing stuff in VS Code, I have my VS Code kind of head on, and it's difficult to combine the two. I don't know why. Probably because I'm not as clever as I'd like to be, but why have I got a squiggle there? That took its time. It seems like everything's running slow. I don't. That shouldn't run slow. Anyway, all right, we'll run this one last time, and then we'll just wrap up, and we'll look at say this is just me parsing one lot of flight data. So what you would do, I'll run this while this is running. I'll talk. So what you would do is you would parse out these 4 key value pairs. And then obviously there's, I think it was 300 no, that was the number of planes, wasn't it? But basically this retrieves 100 results at a time. So a result is one flight, I believe. No, sorry. I think a result is, what's the limit? It's whatever the limit was. Was it 50 or 100? So within that first response, you could then maybe have 50 or 100 flights. So then you would then iterate through that first response, get your 50, and then you would move on to your next response and then pass out the next 50. So here we go. Got flight date, flight status, departure. Why is that? Departure. Oh, it's put a bracket around it because it's a dictionary. And then airline. So this is just how to pass your first lot of flight data. And as they've shown, results which didn't appear in this particular example, pagination, limit, offset, count, total, data. I cannot see results anywhere in here. Let's just do find result. No, there's no key called results in this anywhere. So I think for once I'm probably right. Remember, this is a not live stream, so anybody who likes it, thumbs up. If you'd like to see another not live stream, let me know. If it's been a waste of your, well, not your Friday evening, because you probably might not. By the time this is uploaded, it won't be Friday evening unless you're... I'm in the UK, so if we go far to the west, so if we go to California, and I've uploaded this by now, it might be Friday evening your time, but hey. So then you just do for if, yeah, blah, 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 print, and then they're passing out these bits of these key value pairs. I'm waffling now, so I'm gonna get rid of that because that was a load of nonsense. So hopefully you've learned a bit. So what we did was I, royal we, does that say unused? It does. Oh, it's because I've commented this out. Yeah. So I can comment that out as well now. But just put that back in. If you put that back in, put line 1 back in if you want to run 16, 17, and 18. If you're an aviation fan and you're not interested in Python, but you just want to get this data anyway, yeah, copy this code. I'm running Python 3.10. So VS Code is free, but you don't have to have VS Code to write Python. You can write Python in whatever editor you want. You can write it in Windows, you can write it in Mac, you can write it in Linux. If you want, you can write, for instance, I could, I was going to copy and paste this into Sublime Text, but my API key is probably not in the right directory. I've put my API key. Yeah, so if you've got Sublime Text or whatever you want, Atom, you can run Python code. So copy this code, but all you will need to do is install, as I showed earlier near the start of the video, is you'll need to do pip install python.env. Python.env. So pip install is basically how to install an additional Python module that's not part of the default installation. Pretty print is just a way to give you a nice indentation when you're working with JSON and dictionaries. So JSON is JavaScript object notation, which is an interchangeable data format which most, if not, well, yeah, most programming languages can read and write and understand. So I'd recommend using that because it just makes it look nicer when you print it, rather than it all being flat and all just wrapping in one big block. Pretty print gives you nice indentation, and you can visually see the structure of the output. Load.env, so that's actually getting from my env file. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to edit that off screen. Then I'm going to show you it. So there we go. So what you need to do is create a text file. If you're on Windows, you'll need to show file extensions. If you're on Mac or Linux, you just do touch space .env. So that's just about it, really. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up and all that. So yeah, see you next time. Touch.env.